about 26% of pet owners actually have their pets in an estate plan. That's one of the things that people, what's going to happen to my pet if something happens to me, right? It's not just married couples, it's your kids, it's your pets, and nowadays pets are more family than they've ever been, right? We want to do everything for our pets.
Hey, everybody. I'm Leanne Shinton from Automation Dogs, and welcome to my podcast. I have not done one of these for a while, so I'm a little out of sorts because we have been moving to Florida. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing some folks from Texas who are dog trainers, but also have a background and a business to help us dog trainers with some of the plans for our future finances, things like that. So, Jose and Laura, welcome. How are you guys?
Thank you, Leanne. We're
Hi,
doing
we're
great.
doing well.
Happy to be here.
Happy to have you guys. This is the first time I have had someone on that's helping dog trainers with their future plans. So, maybe share just quickly like the two businesses that you have, your dog training company and your financial money company.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess it goes all the way back to when I started, working with dogs in 2006. I became a military working dog handler in the Marine Corps, and I served 2 tours of duty in Iraq with my military working dog. When I got out of the military, I continued to work with dogs. I started getting into pet dog training. I worked with TSA for a few years with their explosive detection dogs. I also did some private security work out in Indonesia with working dogs. And around 2016, I attended Star Mark Academy and graduated from their canine training and behavior specialist school course. And from there, just continued to train dogs until about 2018. I started to do basically start my own business, and we've been in operation, Semper Amici Canine Training, since about 2018, until, or we're presently going. So that's pretty much the history on our business. We're based out of Humble, Texas, which is a northern suburb of Houston. And a couple years ago, we basically were looking for help with our personal finances. So as we were looking for help with our personal finances, we came across this company, and we spoke with somebody there, and they not only helped us with our personal finances, but they educated us. They told us exactly, what steps to take based off of where we were currently at in our lives, and what we what we wanted to see in the future, how we wanted to live, pre and post retirement. So that information was very powerful to us. The education alone was worth meeting with this with this man who has become our mentor. And since then, we've been able to get out of debt. We have built an emergency fund for ourselves, and we have started to put our money into places that will grow for us and allow us to get to where we want to be in retirement. And so we thought, we thought, well, this is something that dog trainers need. This is something that dog trainers don't think about. And I say trainers because that's my industry, right? But pet professionals in general do not think about it. I'm going to be training dogs, or I'm going to be grooming dogs until I'm 80 years old. That was once my way of thinking. And as I get older, I'm like, yeah, maybe that's not something that I can actually do feasibly. So this has been something that I feel, or that we felt that we can bring to our pet professional, industry, where we can help people understand not only what to do, but why it's important, and how they can live that type of life that they want to live in retirement, and overall. So I wasn't the first one to get into it. Patty was the one that kind of spearheaded that for us as a family. Just kind of dove in. I'm very much still involved with our dog training business. So she's been running point on it. And I help her, and we do education together. We educate people together, whether it's individuals, businesses, uh,
Nonprofits.
you name it. So I'll let Patty kind of talk about what kind of got her into it before I kind of say what drew me to it.
Yeah,
Well,
that would be great.
really-
And just to clarify, Laura/Patty, I
Yeah.
just wanted to ask before you start, were you guys together in like 2006? Like, or so you guys have been through all of this together,
Well, in
starting this dog
2006,
training life and him being deployed.
So Jose and I actually got together after he got out of the Marine Corps.
Okay.
We reconnect. Well, we went to high school together, and I actually did not like him. I thought he was rude.
wow.
I had to. I mean, that's the truth. But he was obviously, we were in high school, and I was a nerd, and he was not.
I was a little bit of a nerd.
Well, but we reconnected right before he got out of the Marine Corps. And so I was there for the transition back into civilian life with him. I was there for his deployment into Indonesia, and just the journey of transitioning back to civilian life. I was there for all of that.
Wow. I think one of the big things that I found in life and in everybody is money is a big friction point for a lot of couples. And you guys have, faced that head on and made a plan, and you're aligned in it. And I think that's the piece where sometimes there's a disconnect there, and that can cause a lot of problems. And us being dog trainers, a lot of us are like mom and pop shops. And, you know, it's it's a lot of friction trying to run a business together. But I think money is even a bigger cause for arguments and divorce and things like that. So it's just so interesting to learn from you guys today. And I just wanted to kind of point that out. And then, so Jose was actually overseas, sent to Indonesia. Was that stressful?
Oh my goodness, it was incredibly stressful. Sometimes I wouldn't hear from him for a couple days at a time, because with the internet back then, it wasn't the best. So we would have Skype dates, and sometimes he wouldn't show up for the Skype dates because the internet was weird. So yeah, we went through a lot. I feel like our entire um, relationship and marriage has constantly been going through trials, and we get through them.
Mhm.
And what's beautiful about, I know you mentioned a lot of couples go through divorce, or there's a lot of friction when they go into business together. For us, it's actually been the opposite. It's been such a fun experience to have the dog training business together and also have this business together. I feel like it's brought us even closer, and there's just a stronger alignment on so many different levels.
Yeah.
So I feel so blessed to be able to say that.
And yeah, Jose mentioned that you kind of started you guys off on this path. Like, what was it that pivoted you into this for WealthWave?
Yes, so it's very similar to dog training, in that, how before clients come to us, they're like, well, I did something on YouTube. I researched this on TikTok. I saw this trainer over here. So they're finding bits and pieces from everywhere. That was me. I was Googling, I was reading books, I was doing all this stuff. But when it came down to actually taking action, it was very difficult to take action because I was so confused. I didn't know what was the first step I needed to take. So when you come to a professional, you're dealing with one person, and the person is able to customize what's in front of them. Just like with dog training,
The
right?
dog trainer.
Exactly. You wouldn't treat this dog the same you would treat another dog. You adapt and you work with whatever works for that dog. It's the same thing with finances. So when we met our now mentor, he was able to do a financial analysis, saying, "Hey, this is what you want to do first. This is what makes the most sense with your situation." At the time, I had a couple of retirement accounts from um, previous employments, and so, or workplaces, and we were able to roll over my money. And it's incredible because I check my retirement accounts quite frequently, and to see the massive growth in only a few years is it's just a great feeling. It feels good, it feels good to see it go up. And I know that when I bring this information to clients and they take action, they get to feel that as well. So it's a very rewarding experience to have.
I just wanted to take a deeper dive on what you just said because I think a lot of us, we look at Amazon and we make a purchase and we feel really good about that purchase. We're getting new furniture. Like I just moved and I'm like, oh, I gotta go get new furniture. Like it feels really good at the time, but it also feels damn good not going out for dinner every night and not shopping on Amazon for some things. And then looking at that bank account is just, that feels really good too. So how did you want to maybe comment on a little more on that? Because I feel like that's something people miss is watching their bank account grow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it feels good to see the opposite, right? So, like you mentioned, when you buy something from Amazon, all of a sudden, if you check your bank account, it keeps going down.
Yeah.
So, um, having that sense of gratification, like, wow, I made the right move. Um, it's it just feels really good to experience that, and to know. So something that I kind of want to mention too is when we sit with our clients, we go over finding out what your financial independence number is. So the financial independence number is the number that you want to strive for, and it lets you know that you can retire. So a lot of times people relate retirement with an age. Like they're like, okay, I'm going to retire at 65. But can you truly retire at 65? How much money should you have saved so that you can retire? That's why, sadly, sometimes when we go grocery shopping, like we'll still see an attendant in their 80s and they're still working. And sometimes you're like, well, why are they still working? Like they might be getting Social Security, but that's not enough. They should have saved a little bit more. Maybe if they would have received this information sooner, they wouldn't be working still, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things that drew me to the business as well. To do this, to be able to help other people that have been in the same position that I once was. That I wish I would have received this information before I ever even joined the military. So that's been another community that I've been passionate about helping is our veteran community and our military community. The kids that go into the military should know this before they go in, so that they know what they should do, so that 20 years from now, when you're retiring at most, if they went in when they were 18, at 38, 40 years old, you're retiring, but can you really retire? Right? I know I see a lot of veterans that still have to work another 20 years in order to actually retire, in order to be able to enjoy that retirement. And so, being able to educate them and being able to help them make these things happen and understand how to manage their finances through life, how to protect their finances, how to grow their wealth and actually create generational wealth. That is, that's very fulfilling for me.
I bet. And as you say that, of course, when we were first talking, I'm thinking of Brett and I. But when you say that, like his little brother's in the Navy, and he's probably going to make all the mistakes and stuff that we all make. But it would be nice to have a path to wealth laid out for him so he doesn't make all those mistakes and have to learn the hard way like the rest of us, because it's nice when someone's already kind of been through the pain and can be your guide in this. um what would be something you guys do uh that helps you stick to a budget?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I would say like check-ins. So I mentioned that we do the financial analysis with our clients. I try to do a financial analysis for us every quarter, just to make sure we're still on track to meet that financial independence number. So that helps. And I have a couple clients that have asked, "Hey, can I do that? Can I meet with you every, usually we meet up once a year just by default, but some people have asked me, "Hey, can I meet up with you every quarter? Or can we meet up maybe every other month and just kind of see where I'm at with everything? Am I closer to meeting that number? What can I do to, figure out my debt? How can I get out of debt?" And so just having those check-ins, and even as a couple, communicating, "Hey, this is what came in, this is what's going out. We had an emergency, we had to take one of the dogs to the vet. We're short a couple hundred. What can we do?" So it's important to kind of check in with each other too. If you're in a relationship or if you're married, it's good to check in with your partner as well and having those conversations and kind of getting rid of that stigma where you don't talk about money. It's important to talk about it, especially if you have children. Like, start teaching them about this stuff. Because I remember as a child, my mom, my mom would she would do her her bookkeeping at the end of every week. My mom was always on top of her finances. My dad not so much, but my mom was. And so sometimes I wonder if they both communicated better about their finances, if maybe they would have not gotten a divorce eventually, so yeah, I just think it's important to talk about money, not just amongst yourselves, but educate your children as well. And stop using phrases like "money doesn't grow on trees." And sometimes I think parents put this mindset around money without thinking about it. For their children, they transfer that idea, when really we can create our own wealth, and that's something else that we educate on and we talk about in the books that we go over. You can see here on the screen, all of our clients get a book. We generally give out an ebook after our first meeting, and after our second meeting, once we go over what you want to put into action, we mail you a physical book. We have our next generation book for younger people under the age of like 35. We have the How Money Works for Women, which talks about women at different stages in life, women that are 18, 38, 50, all the way up to their 80s. It even talks about domestic violence. All kinds of topics that are very specific to women are in that book. And then we have our original book, which is How Money Works, Don't Be a Sucker, which is a pretty great book overall. So just wanted to plug those books in as well.
Yeah, and I love those tips too. There was something that stood out to me, and it was when you were talking about the kids and you were talking about remembering your mom and your dad and how they were with money. And it would made me think how impressionable kids must be, because as you were saying that, I'm thinking I am very frugal, and my mom was very frugal, and my dad was just a spender, very showy with his money, but definitely didn't go in that direction. I went more where my mom was. It's yeah, I think there's definitely something there as a child, so you have to be careful if you're out there being showy and buying all your new cars and stuff. The kids are paying attention, and they might not end up making the life choices that you might want for them. So,
Definitely. Yes. And then also just like the wealth transfer, going back to like Jose touched on generational wealth. There is a wealth transfer that's happening actively right now. Um, as you know, women outlive men, and there's a wave of baby boomers that are retiring, and as they retire, maybe they start transitioning and passing, and a lot of times that money is left to their spouses, their wives. And so there's about, I believe, $30 trillion that are about to lay in the hands of women worldwide. Um, and so it's important for women to be educated in their finances so that they know what to do with that wealth once it lands on their laps. So that's something that I just really wanted to also like educate people on. It's important that everybody learns about money and how it works and how it can work for you versus you working for it.
and I think, I mean, you've mentioned women. Lot of times, a couple, one of them will handle the finances, and then the other one doesn't even know what accounts they have or credit cards and what's going on over there. It could be bad, or could be good. I don't know. So maybe if you could share a little bit about, and it's not specific to women, but just one of the people in that couple not be knowing what's going on. And then what if something happened to that other person? You're like, I don't even know how to log into Bank of America over here.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want to touch
I
on
mean, that's very important. A lot of times, and you'd be surprised. We talk to a lot of families that the man does handle all the finances, and then we also talk to a lot of families where the woman handles all the finances. So the point is, like, it shouldn't just be one or the other. You should both know exactly what you have and what you don't, what's coming in, what's going out, and make a plan for what happens if one of us is no longer here tomorrow. What happens if one of us is all of a sudden incapacitated, right? That stuff, you need to know that stuff so that you can continue to move freely, about your life, and not have any hangups when it comes to money, or like if something all of a sudden stops, or if this person's suddenly is hospitalized, or God forbid passes away.
Mhm. And it's so important to have it in writing.
Hmm.
So important, not just logging into, like you mentioned, like logging into Bank of America. It's also important to figure out your estate plan.
Hmm.
If you own a home, if you have children, where are the kids going to go if God forbid something happens to you and your spouse, or you and your partner? What's going to happen to your dogs? Who's going to take care of them if you have a behavior case for your dog? Can your sister that said she'd take them truly handle that case? So yeah, I love that. I love what we do because we literally cover it all.
Yeah.
We lead with education. We talk about how you can get out of debt. We talk about how you can build wealth, how you can protect wealth, and how you can leave a legacy for your family. We cover it all. I love it.
Tell me a little bit more about pet trust.
Yes, so we're actually going to be having a webinar next Thursday, September 3rd, for dog owners, dog trainers, anybody who owns a dog is welcome to come. We're going to have Jerry Kane, the founder and owner of um, what is it, Inherit Guard and Plans USA.
Hmm.
And so he's going to be going in depth on pet trusts and what it all entails, how you can either just have a pet trust or add it to your estate plan. And Jose, I think you have some statistics to share.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy because only about 26% of people uh, that are dog or pet owners, should I say, only about 26% of pet owners actually have their pets in an estate plan, right? And that's pretty low, considering that's one of the things that people what's going to happen to my pet if something happens to me, right? Like I was talking about before, with married couples. It's not just married couples, it's your kids, it's your pets, and nowadays pets are more family than they've ever been, right? We want to do everything for our pets. So what happens to my pet if something happens to me, right? So you have to have that plan, you have to have that in writing, you have to uh, figure all that out, because it's not just, oh, it's going to be, my pet's going to go to this person. Well, what level of care is your pet going to receive? Do you want to leave money to your pets? Do you want to designate somebody to take care of your pets, a caretaker, a trustee, to oversee that caretaker? Do you want someone to oversee or a board to oversee the trustee and the caretaker, and make sure that everything is going well, that the money that you left for your pet or your pets is going to be distributed the way that you wanted to? And then what happens after that last pet passes away? If you have extra money, where's that money going to go to, right? So it's more than just, oh, who do they go to? It's
Yeah.
it's making sure that they have the proper level of care that they had with you when you were alive. Or
Yeah.
Yes. And I can speak from firsthand experience. I am part of someone's estate planning. So I know that I get their dog if something ever happens to both of them. And a big chunk of money comes along with that dog so that I can make sure that he is taken care of. And it's a lot of money. So I could see making sure that there's somebody available to make sure that that gets spent on on the dog.
yes,
It's funny, but it's a serious freaking Malinois, like, it's no joke,
yes,
so,
yes,
you've gotta make sure that he doesn't get put out into the world and do something naughty or something happens, so he's
absolutely,
yeah, it's a lot of it.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. And in most states, I believe it's 43 states now,
Mhm.
they consider pets property. So that's why it's very important to have it all in writing.
Ability.
Yes,
Hmm.
because if like you said, a Malinois, right? They're intense, right? So what's going to happen if nobody can handle that Malinois, right? So if something happens, right, they could end up in a shelter, or they could end up being euthanized,
Yeah,
right? So it's like,
absolutely.
hey, no, my trainer knows exactly what to exactly what to do, or whoever you designate. But instead of them going, okay, well, next of kin, here you go. Next of kin is like, oh, I don't know how to handle this dog,
Yeah.
and then what happens from there happens.
Hmm.
So
And it's interesting talking about pet trusts. While we were at IACP last week, I had a trainer come up and she was like, "Oh my God, I need to share this with all of my clients because I already have two dogs that were left to me with no trust. I just couldn't help but feel bad, and I had to take them in." And how sustainable is that when you have your own business, your own dogs, your own family? Like, how truly sustainable is that if you just start taking every single client's dog? It's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yes, absolutely. Now you mentioned the IACP, how was it? Were you guys did you get to talk to a lot of people and find that they were like, "We need this"?
yes, it was great.
I
It
bet.
was
It
amazing.
was an awesome experience.
I would highly recommend that if you've been kind of wondering, should I go to this? Absolutely go check it out at least once and get to meet other trainers, hear different perspectives, hear what other dog trainers are offering for their clients, and just make new friends. It's
Yeah.
a really awesome experience.
Next year, I think it's in Washington, DC.
Yes.
Yes.
Are
Yes.
you guys gonna plan to go to that one?
Yes, we will definitely be out there.
We're
Yeah.
definitely going to that one. I've
Yeah.
kind of been on the outskirts, but I've never been able to like tour uh, DC. And is it happening during the week? Was it like a Tuesday to Thursday or something I saw?
Yes, it was
Mhm.
a Tuesday to Thursday.
So that way you could do the weekend before or after as like tourist time. I love it. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
it
excited
was
about
great.
that one. And so you have the IACP that you just did, and then you've got the webinar that's coming up on, you said September 9th.
So we actually have two webinars. We have How Money Works for Pet Professionals on September 2nd, and on September 3rd is when we're going to have the Pet Trust. So it's called Train for Today, Plan for Tomorrow, Learn Everything About Pet Trusts.
Okay. And then how can people get signed up for the webinars?
Sure. So they can click on the flyer that we're going to provide to you. There's a link on there that they can click and they can sign up that way through Zoom, and they'll receive a link, and they'll be able to join us.
Okay, perfect. And then your website is beautiful. What's the website URL? Just so
Sure.
folks can
So
look it up.
it's wealthwave.com/the Sierras.
Okay, excellent. And I guess back to when you were talking about got out of debt. I've followed like Dave Ramsey. I've read a book or two there. And that is definitely something that he preaches is to pay off your credit cards and stop using your credit cards. Would you guys agree?
Absolutely,
I would
absolutely.
agree
Not
to a certain extent.
yeah, not necessarily that you have to stop using them, but you have to be more conscious of the way that you use them. So I'll give you a little tidbit, here, but there's something called the rule of 72. All right, have you ever heard of the rule of 72?
No.
So the rule of 72 is basically a mathematical equation that will tell you how long it takes for your money to double with compound interest. So that can either work for you or against you, right? Credit cards work against you, right? You got anything in your like savings accounts that give you uh, maybe like 0.015 percent back on your money. Rule of 72 basically is 72 divided by the interest rate. Right? If you do that, it'll show you how much time it'll take for your money to double. Again, with credit cards, loans, and things like that, it's going to work against you. With your retirement accounts and different savings accounts, high yield savings accounts, that's going to work for you. I always like
I
to
see.
say you also want to take things like inflation into consideration, and that's usually steady around a 2.8 to 3%. So you also want to take that into consideration when growing your money. But typically, those credit cards are going to hit you a lot harder than a lot of things that can grow your money. So you definitely want to be careful with those credit cards, especially the way that interest rates are nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned growing your money and having like an investment account and that the interest is working for you. I think it was literally like yesterday that Brett said to me, like, you got to look at our Fidelity account. Like, it's amazing how fast the money is growing in there. So, is that something that you would recommend? Is that people are paying into, like, is it an IRA? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's so many things out there nowadays. There's accounts out there that will even give you up to 20% in interest. It's just people don't know about them.
Hmm.
And so I'm
Certs.
glad that you mentioned Fidelity. Fidelity is also on our platform.
Yeah.
So we have over 140 different companies that we work with, and we make sure that we customize a plan for the client in front of us.
Yeah.
So if it makes sense that maybe Fidelity is the best company to go with, we'll pair you up with them. If a different company like Franklin Templeton is better, then we'll pair you up with them. It really just depends on what we see is going to help you the most wherever you are.
Yeah, it's definitely a colleague of ours said this recently, and it really hit. It was like it's like a tailored suit, right? You can say, yeah, I'm a large or I'm a medium, but is that suit really going to fit you, right? No, and the sleeves might be a little bit short, or you might kind of feel a little bit weird in them, right? But if you go to a tailor who can take all the measurements that they need to take to know exactly what kind of suit you need, exactly the different sizes, you're going to get that suit that you always wanted, right? So it's definitely, it's very customized to where you're at. A lot of people will say, "Oh, I don't need that because I don't have money." Well, that's why you need this, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's figure out what's going on. Let's talk about it. Let's see how we can, how we can help you. Because no matter what stage you're at, that's where we start, right? And we build a roadmap for you to understand how to get from where you're at to where you want to be.
That is amazing, and I think that it's it's something you want to get excited about. Money is something you want to get excited about this plan for your future and lean into it. Because I was looking at some statistics that like Dave Ramsey was talking about probably, and it was the wealthiest people are not who you would think are the wealthiest people. It's the accountants, teachers. And when I heard teachers, it made me think of my mom. So she's a teacher and her husband was a firefighter, that my stepfather was a firefighter. And she's just like, "You don't have to worry about me. I'm good." Like she's traveling all the time. Like she's so brilliant about her money. And she helped her mother. And, just a teacher mentality. I think that the way she just ran her life and her finances, it paid off. Whereas, my father, who was very like entrepreneurial and like showy and everything, like nothing over there. But the teacher mentality, so lean into it because then you can be like my mom, who's like, "Oh, I went to Africa last week." And it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm so happy that you mentioned your mom being an educator because a lot of people on our team are educators.
Yes.
They ended up leaving the profession entirely because they're like, oh, I can just teach people over here and help them at the same time help myself and go from there. And that's why we have this golden apple, is because we're truly educating
Hmm.
people about money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and you
and
guys
this
are
is,
educators for dogs and their owners too.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it's
exactly.
it's in our blood.
Yep.
It's like, when we do this, it's such a fulfillment because yes, we are educators. We want to teach. We want to help not only our own families and our own friends, but this is education. This is information that you don't get in schools,
And we
right? They don't
should.
teach this in
Yes.
schools. The most that I received in school was, this is how you balance a checkbook. That was it. And and it didn't teach you about, saving and about borrowing. It didn't teach you where you should put your money, where, retirement accounts. They don't teach you any of that.
Taxes.
Taxes, taxes, right?
And
So
it's so weird because like the teachers are like, rolling in the money, like, but they're not teaching it.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
mom.
yeah,
Sorry. You're
absolutely,
not listening.
absolutely. And it's education that really, it's available if you have enough money, right?
Yes.
It's available to the 1% that can afford these these hot shot, financial
Advisors.
gurus and advisors. But what about the people, that actually need this? What about the 99%? Right. So that's who we're trying to reach with this, right? Everybody deserves this education. Everybody deserves to be financially literate, right? It's very dangerous to not be financially literate. So, that's the passion right there. That's the that's what is driving us in this business, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a clear picture of the negative and the positive. Like you mentioned, is shopping Amazon, it feels good, but you watch that bank account go down. You budget, you watch that bank account go up. Like it's a balancing act, but seeing it go up and having investments going up, that's the good feeling to lean into, not that good feeling you get for a few minutes when you purchase on Amazon or go out to a restaurant and eat, have a really fun dinner. Um, but yeah, leaning into just relax a little bit and watch that money grow.
Yes.
Exactly.
And nowadays there's all sorts of apps that can help you understand what's going in, what's going out. For me, I use the Rocket Money app. I'm not
Okay.
I'm not affiliated. I'm not trying to plug anything, but that's what I use for myself, because I can see what's going in, what's going out. I can see how many subscriptions I've signed up for that I don't use anymore, that I need to get rid of. We try to cut down on like our subscriptions, and if we want to get another one, we cancel one, so that we're not always paying for so many things. So that definitely helps us to keep track of of what we got going on, and maybe we spent a little bit more money this month than we did last month, and you know yeah, that's something that I would definitely recommend if somebody's kind of either worried about, oh, I don't know what's going on. Well, that will let
Easy.
that's easy to let you know, hey, you know what's going on. Connect it to your bank account, and it tells you everything.
And I will say, the first time we did our financial analysis, as as my now mentor was asking, hey, how much do you spend on these subscriptions? We were watching it go up to, like, I think it got to like $150
Yeah.
on like Apple Music, Apple TV,
Netflix, Crunchyroll,
everything you can think of.
Mhm.
We were like, oh my gosh, we didn't realize it was in the hundreds just to watch some streaming service. So that was a big one. And even with the clients that I meet with today, it's the same thing. The subscriptions get everybody.
Yeah. And everybody thinks that they have less subscriptions than they actually do.
Okay. And you said that app was Rocket what? I've heard of it.
Rocket Money.
Rocket Money.
Rocket
Okay. Yeah, I've
Money,
heard
yeah.
of it. Very familiar, but I'm definitely going to be looking at that one. And I've heard that subscriptions can really eat away silently. So that is a
Definitely.
good tip. Do you guys do like a date night that's kind of budget friendly and are smart about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we so we kind of double dip sometimes on our date nights. So we enjoy pro wrestling. So we go to like local pro wrestling events and everything like that, and we also, we are also we'll oftentimes be sponsors for them, and we'll go out, we'll have a good time, we'll watch the local wrestling, and at the same time, let everybody know what we do, and try and help people along the way.
And it's a write-off.
And
So you write it off at the end.
Oh, but I
Yeah.
like that though, because I think it's important to have a date night and to have hobbies. Like for us, oh, it's a bad investment, but we have an RV. Um,
It's enough.
Nice.
so yeah, that's troublesome, but it's also given us so much freedom. We've been to Yellowstone. We got to be on the road for 2.5 years and create all these memories and things like that. And, like, well, other people, like, they drink or gamble or, travel and golf or whatever it may be, but we have our RV and that is, our fun thing. It's healthy. So I think it's good to budget for a date night and maybe to budget for dog sports, which can eat into our finances a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you do need to treat yourself,
Yeah,
right?
fill your cup.
Yeah, yeah. It's not about. Uh, I guess it's not about keeping you from having fun, or making your life boring. No, you can do the things that you want, budget for it, right? Everything in moderation. and and yes, it's very important to have those date nights, and budget for these things. We always say pay yourself first, right? You have to pay yourself first. Because you're paying all these bills, you're doing all these things, and at the end of the month, you're like, well, I'll use whatever I have left. No, pay yourself first, and then pay all your other things. You know, whether you're saving $10, you know, a paycheck, or you're saving, you know, however much you can, right? But give yourself something, and put that away, and budget for the things that you're looking to do, and that the things that you're looking to have, and all that.
I'm so glad you touched on that, because a lot of times people see it the opposite way. And when we educate, hey, you should be paying yourself first, their mind is blown, because a lot of times we're the last one, so we pay everything off, we go on a date night, we have all the fun, and then you're like, oh snap, I gotta put something into savings, when really you need to pay yourself first. You're the important one here. You're the one running the ship, so you got to make sure you take
Yeah.
care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got to have like goals, like a goal to reach maybe at the end of the week or whatnot. Yeah. Okay. Some fun questions. If Jurassic Park were a real park where there was real dinosaurs, would you guys go?
Where there was no dinosaurs?
No, real dinosaurs.
Oh, where there
Real,
were real.
like it was
Real.
real.
Okay, I know she would.
I'm into dinosaurs, aliens, all
Yeah.
of that stuff. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So I probably would go.
And I would go because she would want me to go and wouldn't go without me. But me by myself, no. I know how to read danger.
Okay. Yeah, you've seen the movies, so you know how
Yeah.
it ends. If you could travel to any place in time, when and where would you go?
That's a good question.
I know that one's kind of deep.
I
Don't
would
overthink it though.
Yeah, no, for me it's easy to answer that. I would go to like the peak of Mayan civilization. I would want to see exactly how they um, study the stars and astronomy, and how they created their aquifers, and see the civilization at its peak. That's where I would want to go to.
I would choose sometime in the future. I'd like to see, you know, where civilization gets to, what kind of inventions, you know, have come out, you know, what people live, how people live in, you know, in the future. Yeah, because I'm sure it's not the Jetsons.
um, and then if you guys weren't training dogs and you weren't WealthWave, you could be anything tomorrow and just have all the skill set, everything. What do you think you would do?
It's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd want to be an archaeologist. I think going back to
Mayans too.
Mayan civilization, dinosaurs, aliens. I'd want to be an archaeologist and be on Ancient Aliens sometimes.
Man, I got to go with pro wrestler. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd go with pro wrestler.
That's funny. That makes sense. That makes sense. Awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to share about WealthWave, or something to speak to our listeners, which are generally dog training entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say just know you're not alone. And we were lost at one point with our personal finances. We got the help while partnering up with a financial professional, and we're here to help you too. And it's all complimentary. We don't charge. We don't have a minimum. I know a lot of banks, places have a minimum. I saw, I'm not going to say the name of it, but they recently just said that they will not service anybody below $5 million. And this is a company that used to service people that at least had $100,000 in their retirement. Now they're upping the game. We're not like that. It doesn't matter if you have negative dollars in your account. Doesn't matter if you have $1 million in your account. Anywhere in between. We want to educate you first, and if you want us to help, we can service as well. So that's what I'd like to share with our people in the dog training industry.
Yeah. For me, it's you know, it can be scary to look at your numbers, at your accounts, especially if you've been neglecting them for a while. We've been there, and we know, that it can be a little stressful to dive into that stuff and start to kind of shake out the cobwebs and all that. But you don't know what you don't know until you know, right? And so we're here to help you through every step of the way. All right. We're not just, it's not just one, if we help you, it's not one time. We're going to keep in touch with you, and we're going to make sure that we help you through each stage of the process. Like I said, you don't know what you don't know until you know. So that's, for me, that's one of the things that I wanted to make sure that, we kind of gave you is, we can help, and we've been there, and, we'll help you every step of the way so that you know exactly what you have and exactly what you need to do to live the type of life that you want to live, not just in retirement, but everywhere leading up to it.
Yeah, I like that you identified, yes, it is stressful and it is scary. But like you said, Patty, that you're not alone. And I know for me, even if I have money in the bank, I don't even want to see a bill. Like, nobody wants to see a bill. So I have like this aversion to it. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to have to like open this up one day.
Yeah.
It's even, I just don't want to spend money. I want to save money. And I'm kind of that side of things. But so when you said it's stressful and it's scary, to look at that stuff, to learn it, it's so important, and you're not alone. So I love that message.
Yeah, you take the power back when you learn about it, right? And you learn how to take control.
It's like dog training.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, we will see you on your webinars September 2nd and September 9th, correct?
Yes.
September
Oh,
2nd and September
the
3rd.
third.
They're
Yeah.
back to back
Oh,
webinars.
back to back. Okay, and one is on making your money work for you. Was that it?
Correct. We're just going to touch on some basic foundations that can help your money grow, and then it should have been taught in schools. And then
Mom,
the third September 3rd, we'll be talking to Jerry Kane
pet trust.
from Inherit Guard to talk about pet trusts.
Perfect. Great two topics. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much, Patty and Jose, for joining me today. Everybody, thank you for listening. I'm Leanne Shinton, and thank you for listening to my podcast. I hope you got some great takeaways, and I hope we'll see you on Jose and Patty's webinar.
Thank you, Leanne.
Thank you so much, Leanne.
Thanks.